5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome everyone to this live briefing on the Thunderbirds International Rescue Technical Operations Manual, available to pre-order now at gerryanderson.com. My name is Jack Knoll, and I'm joined this evening by the authors of the manual, Chris Thompson and Andrew Clements, also known as AC. Welcome in, guys. It's a pleasure to see you both. How are you this evening?
It's a pleasure to be back with you again. We're just saying how long it's felt since Stingray.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. AC, how are you this evening?
Very well, thank you, Jack. It's very warm over here at the moment, so I feel like summer is finally here, which seems appropriate. It's bright, it's sunny, it's good weather for Thunderbirds.
Well, welcome in everybody who's watching us live. Hello, Button Moon. Hello, David H. from Canada. If you are watching us live, leave us a comment letting us know that you're here and tell us which Thunderbirds vehicle is your favorite. Now, I'm a simple man with simple tastes, so I'd probably say something like Thunderbird 2 or something like the Fireflash. Chris, AC, how about you? Favorite Thunderbirds vehicles? If you had to choose right now.
Gotta be Thunderbird 3. Underused, underappreciated.
Thunderbird 1 makes the most sense.
Fair enough, fair enough. Rob says Thunderbird 2 is the best. Shadow Moth is going for Sky Thrust. Great choice. Alistair says TB2, of course. Let's see. Jen is torn between 4 and 1, especially as they were so fun to make. Lovely stuff. Well, keep letting us know where you are watching from. It's great to see you all joining us. Now, it's been a busy day at the Gerry Anderson store. I'm going to say right at the top of this stream that the special edition of the Thunderbirds manual is very, very close to selling out. It's limited to 500 copies worldwide, and I've been told that since the book went live earlier today, the pre-orders have been coming in thick and fast. So if you want a special edition, you need to get in there quickly, and if you're watching this stream later, it's possible that they may have already sold out. But that for you, Chris and AC, that must be very exciting. How does it feel to know that there's so much love in the Gerry Anderson fan community for these technical manuals? It always, whenever we have one of these tech manual launches, it's always a very happy day for everyone. So just what's the reaction been like for you so far?
It's been good. It's always nice seeing. I tend to post a lot about this on my Instagram. So as I'm working on these things, I'll throw an image up and sort of how the art is going, and the response is always really, really lovely. But it's days like this where there was a good period of time there where a lot of companies wouldn't take a chance on a lot of the Gerry Anderson stuff. So you'd really have to fight or make an argument to get to do anything like this. And ever since the Space 1999 one, ever since this, we've been able to definitively prove that actually, no, these shows still have a lot of life in them. The fan base will turn up for them, and it's not just been like this on Thunderbirds. I remember the Fireball XL5 and the Joe 90 manuals, they sold out. Their special edition sold out within the day, which was pretty incredible. It's just great to see.
I see you've been working up towards Thunderbirds for a little while now. How does it feel to get to handle arguably the most, people might say one of the most important of all the Anderson series? How does it feel to finally be getting to tackle that one?
Well, I think at this point, looking back over the previous manuals that we've done, and as Chris said, the fandom will turn up for these things. So we're the ones who put this stuff together, but it's really the fans that actually make it possible. Like if there was no fan base for this material, we would have nothing to do. So any fans watching at the moment, you can give yourself a huge pat on the back, because it is largely down to yourselves that we have actually had the opportunity to do this and bring you this material. Hopefully it's something that you're really going to love. And Jack has asked the question, how does it feel getting to work on Thunderbirds? And it struck me earlier, just thinking back over the project, this is the book that I've wanted since I was a kid. Like this is the Thunderbirds book that I wished existed back in the 90s. And there were plenty of other great Thunderbirds books, don't get me wrong, and other things showing tech specifications and stuff. But I think if you somehow transported this manual back in time and given it to my 5-year-old self, my head probably would have exploded with just how amazing that the whole experience has been. So yeah, it wasn't a great succinct answer there, Jack, but hopefully it gives you some idea of how I'm feeling about the project.
It's a big important day, and I think you two should feel very pleased with yourselves, because well, coming up on the stream, we're gonna be taking a really close, good look at your work and really diving deep into it. We're going to take a closer look at the book. We're going to examine the contents of the special edition. We're going to take a deep dive into some of the pages. And, of course, we're going to be looking specifically at Chris's beautiful illustrations, which fill the book. Then after that, this evening, we're going to take a little break, take a look at a mix of classic vintage Anderson adverts, as well as some of the exciting new releases that are coming from Anderson Entertainment. Then, after the break, when we come back, we're putting Chris and AC very much in the hot seat, because I will be asking them all of your questions about the Thunderbirds manual. We've had a lot of questions that have been submitted already, but feel free in the chat, if you're watching us live, to leave us some questions, and we'll try to answer as many as we possibly can. And then after all that, if we've still got a little bit of time, well, I've got a game planned that's going to test Chris and AC's Thunderbirds knowledge, which everyone watching will be able to join in with as well. Does that sound good to you, chaps? You ready to go?
Sounds
ready to dig in?
That sounds FAB.
Excellent. Well, without further ado, let's take a close-up look at the manual itself. I'm going to bring up some images here. So this is the front cover of the well, it's the book itself, the standard edition hardback book. Chris, rough page count on this. How chunky is it?
It's the biggest one we've done so far. 304 pages, I think, off the top of the head, which breezes past the Moonbase manual, which had about 284 pages. So it's thick.
Yeah. Absolutely packed with stuff. And we were talking a little while ago while we were planning this stream, like, oh, we don't want to sort of reveal too much on the stream. We don't want to show too many pages. And Chris, you were just like, nah, we don't have to worry about that. There is so much in this book that we can't even hope to cover a fraction of it on today's stream. So
one of my favorite things is whenever the Amazing 15, who are the designers that assemble the book, they'll send back the completed book eventually, because initially it comes in chapters, and then they'll send the whole 304-page PDF. And the way you can just scrub through it and scrub through it and scrub through it, and it keeps going and going and going and going. It's quite satisfying.
Amazing. Yeah. The cover of this book, I imagine it was difficult to choose how many vehicles you were going to feature on the front, because you know previously in the past, like things like the Fireball manual, you know, you've got Fireball XL5 on the front with Stingray, you've got Stingray on the front. How did you settle on Thunderbirds 1 and 2 taking pride of place on the front cover here?
Well, it's sort of, there's about 3 or 4 covers for this, and one thing I did want to avoid was just Thunderbird 2 by itself, because that's kind of the obvious thing. And also, like, you do want to separate it a bit from what's come before, because I worked on the Haynes Thunderbirds technical manual with Sam Denham and Graham Bleefman back in the day. I do not want this to overwrite that in any way, because Graham's way of sort of doing art is separate from mine. So the idea was to kind of make this thing look somewhat unique. And then you sort of get into the point of, well, if we're not focusing on Thunderbird 2, then what Thunderbirds do we do? And what we came up with was, I can actually show you. Ta-da! We've got Thunderbird 1 and 2 on the front, Thunderbird 3 is on the spine, Thunderbirds 4 and 5 are on the back. So they're all there they're all represented along with the villa. So
Excellent.
Democracy.
That looks great. Let me just bring up those images again. Yes, it looks good. Very, very nice indeed. Now,
It actually gives me one of my favorite shots for the show is actually the end of the road with Thunderbird 1 and 2 flying away. And it also evokes that, which was another thing I quite liked.
yeah, absolutely it does. And, well, in amongst the special edition with the full collection, the full range of items that you get in here, I have to say that the book looks splendid. So, can you run us through everything that's included in the special edition?
Well, I can show you, actually.
Oh, he's got it there. Oh, goodness. Well, I'm sure you want to see exactly what that looks like. There we go.
So this is the prototype. The sticker is going to be different, but it's pretty chunky. It's fairly robust. It's easily stackable. Although previous bundles have been done, but
compatible with the Space 1999 one. That's great.
yeah, well, that was the thing, because we started with the hard case kind of format, and then we got some pushback. So we moved to the kind of cardboard sleeve format, and then we got pushback for that. So we figured we would continue with the cardboard ones until we got the Thunderbirds. And then because it was such a big release and it contained, like, it does contain the communicator inside, we wanted something to protect it. And also, like, it's still a very good hard case. Like, if you didn't want to store your book in it, you could easily just change the foam out and use it for anything else. So
it's multifunctional.
It's practical, you could say. But you have it open. We have the book. The book rests on top. This is just a basic sleeve. The real book will be coming eventually, but
yeah. So that's a sort of mock-up you've got in your hands right now.
Yeah. And then you can have it stacked up like that and showing it that way. But in addition to that, AC has written an introduction letter from Jeff Tracy. AC, do you want to tell us a bit about this?
Well, it's a one-page letter. It's very sort of similar to the notion that was there with the letter that I would have written for Commissioner Simmons for the Space 1999 manual. And many Thunderbirds fans will know that in the pilot episode, Trapped in the Sky, you hear Jeff starting to dictate a letter to his auto typewriter, and it begins, "Top secret, subject, international rescue. Our organization is way ahead of its time. In the wrong hands, it could be used to destroy life." And then John's portrait lights up, and the sort of the dictation gets cut off. And I thought, well, how does the rest of that letter go? Like, we need to hear what he was going to say next. And you can see a little bit more on the prop of what he had actually written, but I'm not going to spoil it right here. But the rest of it is just really an introduction to, this is your International Rescue Agents Kit. You've become one of the International Rescue Field Agents. Jeff Tracy is personally rescuing you. He's not rescuing you. He's introducing you to international rescue. And you're part of the team. You've got the big man's seal of approval.
Yeah, that's very much the impression I get with this whole thing. It is like, if you are going to be an agent of international rescue, here is everything you need. And I love that immersive quality that you've given all of these items. So what's up next, Chris? What else have you got in that box of tricks?
We've included on hardstock paper the size chart. So this is basically everything I rendered for the manual that belongs to International Rescue. There's a lot more, but isn't represented here. But you've got all the pod vehicles. We've added a couple from TB21 as well. So there'll be a few surprises in here. And this is always the most satisfying bit, whenever you're kind of at the end of the project, and you can just sort of see all your model work. I've not done anything with it yet, but I've been keeping all these that I've worked on over these manuals, and eventually I'm going to do the omni-size chart, which is just everything. I did something for the Anderson store a few years back, which caused quite a lot of controversy, so it'll be nice to revisit that with everything being rendered correctly.
Excellent. Lovely to hear that.
If you pop off the top layer,
Multi-layered. Lovely.
Nice.
you have your ID card. This is the same as the other one we've kind of done for the other projects, where you've got the ability to write your own name and things like you would have sort of a lot of like the way that the old Supercar Club licenses would have worked.
Yeah.
Signed by Jeff Tracy, but also the number being very important, because that's the certificate number of which case you got, because obviously there's limited to 500, so that number is your agent number.
Excellent. That's good to hear. So yeah, it kind of serves both as an ID card and your certificate of authenticity, if you like. So
Yeah.
See. Oh, now.
So this is something, basically, because we were going to do all this stuff with the hard case and things like that, we needed something that was a bit more, like substantial. Because I think particularly as we've been going with the Corbett ones, we wanted something that like would be quite special, and we're trying to work out what it would be. And the most obvious thing is the gun, because like that's the kind of the big prop thing. But we've done that before. It's like,
what did you say? It's been done before.
Anybody buying this would probably have got the gun from us in the past, and I am concerned about having people double dip and things like that. So eventually we settled on the communicator, which is the stick communicator from basically every episode of the series. Like Brains and Scott have variants of these, and I think John eventually gets his, though he starts off with the Fireball XL5 one. So it comes like this, and it comes with a stand, and it can sit on your desk. And then if you're cosplaying, it gives you an extra option rather than just the gun. So it just sets in like that.
That looks great. And it's got there's a little button on the side, isn't there? That
So it's got a little button on the side.
Flips nicely in your hand and everything.
This is all machine metal, and then I think the rest of it might be resin, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But either way, it's pretty hefty.
It's hefty. It's sturdy. Yeah, it looks pretty. It looks honestly like more solid than the original prop probably was in the series.
It's an interesting balance that you kind of need to make, because the original prop would have been I think it was maybe like a bottle cap or something like that, and then use some sort of mesh around it. So this is very much as realistic interpretation of it as possible, but hopefully it kind of gets across, if you're a cosplayer, which is sort of what I mainly had in mind, this is something that you could have around, rather than running around with a gun, which isn't very IR. You can have this, and you could be talking to Thunderbird 5 and all that kind of stuff.
So it looks great. Just the way you holding it up like a microphone like that. There's something.
Go ahead, John.
It's great. Yes. You immediately get into character. You become John Tracy or whoever carrying that. So yeah, very nice.
And it's funny
and it comes with a stand, so it displays nicely as well.
The little IR logo. No, it's funny because this has been on my desk, the prototype of this, for a while, and you do just kind of fiddle with it.
Yeah.
Just kind of, you're about to drop a sick beat diss track.
Oh,
but yeah, it also, I guess it does fit in with all the various other Gerry Anderson props that we've been doing. So
it's kind of scaled to things like or as you say, all the replica kind of sidearms and things like that. It all fits in there like that. That's great. That is very nice. And there's a slot for it, as you've shown there. There's a slot for it in the case. So it's very secure. It's protected in there.
And again, if you've either made or have the gun, you could easily cut a second slot in this, and then you would be able to store it all. So
that's true. Yes, you could do if you felt like adapting it like that. Well, that's excellent. That is the whole contents of the special edition. So as I say, it's been selling out quick. So make sure you get hold of your copy if you want one of these, because they are going to be disappearing pretty fast, I will say. While Chris pops away all the bits and pieces there, AC, is there any particular item from that box of delights that you are particularly keen to get your hands on? Are you gonna pop round to Chris's later and have a play with the microphone or something?
Well, it has to be said the microphone is very sturdy, Jack. It's the sort of thing you pick it up, and we're so used, I think, to things being 3D printed these days. You automatically see a prop replica and you pick it up and think there's not going to be any weight on this, and then suddenly it's like, oh, actually this thing feels like a real working microphone. It's properly weighty. The only thing I can sort of relate it to in terms of that shock value of how good it feels is that the diecast Thunderbird 4 and the diecast Thunderbird 1 that Anderson Entertainment have brought out recently in the last year or so, they're quite hefty as well, and they sort of surprise me in just how good the build quality in those things are. So it's exactly the same with this microphone, that it does feel pretty hefty. But if you pushed me to it and said what is my absolute favorite thing, as much as the special edition accessories are all fantastic, I gotta say the manual, because the manual itself it's the main event. It's what we're here for. Everything else is very attractive accompaniment, but the manual is just definitely my favorite of what we've done so far, and I can't wait to discuss it a little bit more throughout the stream.
I'm glad to hear that, because we are now going to take a look at some pages. Some of these people will have seen before on our Gerry Anderson Day stream a couple of weeks ago, but we also have some new stuff in here that we're going to take a close look at. And as I said before, barely scratching the surface of what's in this book, so I don't feel like anyone's going to be spoiled too much. But first and foremost, what are we looking at here, Chris?
So this is the artwork I did for the contents page, and one of the things, there's a couple of things that will highlight, obviously, one of which is Pod Zero. And this is what could be seen as a continuity error in the Thunderbird 2 launch sequence, is that when Thunderbird 2 is upright and there's no pod beneath it, you can actually see a pod on the right hand of the screen. So my logic is that, okay, well, let's just make that canon, and I put it in here. And also it made a good way to kind of fill in the launch bay for like such a wide shot.
Right.
So I think we come up with a headcanon that it was like it's basically an empty pod that Thunderbird 2 can use whenever it's in flight but doesn't need to carry anything. But also, like, this is the Season 2 version of the launch bay. The manual focuses on the Season 1 version of a lot of the stuff. But if I was doing more artwork and things like that, like, I tended to try and cover as both as I could. But yeah, I did see Chris Halliday saying that's a deep cut. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that in this book.
Oh, it's full of deep cuts. If you think you know your Thunderbirds, oh boy, are you in for a treat. You are going to see a lot of stuff in there. But it's also, going to be very accessible to everyone as well. If you just started watching Thunderbirds as well, there are a few people out there who've missed it in the past 60 years and are just now discovering Thunderbirds. This is a good accessory to have while you're watching episodes, and you can look at it and go, oh, there's a little feature that I hadn't seen before. Oh, look, there's a close-up illustration of it in the manual. So really good mix for everyone there. Now, Thunderbird 1's launch silo. Lots of also talking about continuity errors. I believe you might have gone some way to maybe explain a certain something that happens to Thunderbird 1 during its launch sequence.
Yeah, to be fair, I feel this one was answered by Graham Bleethman before me. I do walk on the shoulders of giants, and I do also need to mention that Graham has contributed 2 illustrations to this manual, which I'm looking forward to people seeing. Connor Flanagan and Christina Logan also did some illustrations on this, so it's not just me. But yeah, stuff like Thunderbird 1, yes, we do talk about why it rotates on the way down the pad, whereas except for the movie where it doesn't. But also, yeah, there's so many bits. Like,
I'm seeing a lot of mentions of lemon squeezers. made
Yeah.
a decision of what the lemon squeezer on the wall does.
Well, again, the thing about Thunderbirds is that there's so much Thunderbird stuff out there which you don't want to erase necessarily. So a lot of it is just kind of like sort of building upon what's been come before. So I think the lemon squeezer is in fact like a powerful air intake thing that can help clear the room of the sort of all the toxic fumes that Thunderbird 1 makes. But no, what's really satisfying about Thunderbird 1, and just all the silos in particular, is just you never get a good look at them in the series. Like you'll see, you'll get like shots from inside, and you'll see like bits of it, but you obviously never get a good overview of the entire room. So it's nice to be able to render it with the lighting in situ, and maybe give people an indication of what that set might have looked like on the studio, like whenever they were filming it, basically. So, and like we say technical manual with all the lore elements, but actually a lot of this book and a lot of the other books are effectively a love letter to this production design.
Of course, absolutely.
So, yeah, and like I love this stuff. And once again, Amazing 15 have done a wonderful job of taking all my disparate notes and imagery and putting them together in this really lovely way.
Yeah, well, it looks fantastic. It really does. Yeah, I especially love being able to see where Thunderbird 1 is stored just behind the lounge, being able to sort of zoom out and see that full room of that, that full view is a real treat. So just that opportunity to see things from slightly different angles to what you would see in the sort of standard stock footage that was used in the series. So
and also highlights how much room Thunderbird takes up in the house.
Yeah.
Everything above that door is above ground level.
Yes. Yeah, well, I appreciate that you've tried to fit it all in and come up with the logic behind all of that. It looks great. It looks great. Now, a little bit on the Thunderbird 3 launch sequence. We have that glorious shot that you've done there of Thunderbird 3 blasting off, just about to emerge through the roundhouse. That must be fun, getting all those drama shots.
Well, that was actually an old piece of art that I ended up redoing for this, but that's based off as a famous photo of the one of the Apollo rockets lifting off in this weird fisheye kind of lens. And I just thought it'd be wonderful to do that with Thunderbird 3. And like that's not really a view you ever really got to see of it launching. So one of the things I did love about this book is that you get to see stuff from different angles that you could assume were there, and you can sort of work out how it would have gone together. But yeah, and it's that, and also like I think Thunderbirds is really cool, and I really want to get across how cool this is. I want people to see what I see whenever I watch the show. So this is my way of trying to do that.
Yeah, well, Mark Simpson Wedge agrees that it is beautiful. Jen Whitby says very Apollo 13-esque. Paul Hyde says, wow, looks brilliant. Thank you all for your comments. Keep them coming in. And also, if you have questions, just a reminder, we will be coming to your questions a little bit later in the show as well. But for now, here's a lovely look at Thunderbird 1. Now, Chris, you've made no secret of the fact that Thunderbird 1 is your favorite. So tell us a little bit about this particular shot.
So, yeah, I really wanted to do like some nice artwork of all the Thunderbirds in action. And this was my attempt to try and get across the speed. So you can just sort of see like the water and the clouds beneath it just absolutely gunning it as Thunderbird 1's trying to catch up with this hydromic missile, which is recycled from Stingray. But yeah, no, I really love Thunderbird 1. I just don't think it gets a fair shake with a lot of, like even in the show, like I think it's a lot more useful than people give it credit for. And obviously we're able to bring this out earlier in the year, which unlike it is a beautiful thing. So yeah, no, I had a lot of fun fleshing out. Particularly, you can sort of see I've broken down the various roles that Thunderbird 1 would have. So and getting across the fact that this actually probably launches more than any other Thunderbird. It's just a lot of its adventures aren't actually episode worthy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's interesting. You've written. It looks like you've written this from the perspective of Scott Tracy. Does that happen a fair bit throughout the manual? Of like,
Yes, actually,
different-
that is worth pointing out. Is that we AC and I have written this one slightly differently in that because all of these manuals are in-universe documents. There's an element of okay, well, who's writing this and why? And in Thunderbird's case, it's quite convoluted that there would be a manual at all. Like it's the same as Joe 90. Like, why are they writing this down?
yeah,
But we have come up with a fairly flimsy kind of explanation that, like, no, this is for their field agents in case they need to be brought on to replace or support international rescue. But it's meant that we've been able to write everything from the perspective of the various Tracy brothers, because obviously Scott would talk about Thunderbird 1. You've got when AC does the episode guide section, it's their various characters performing that. And you've got bits from Jeff, you've got bits from Penelope, you've got bits from Parker, and it also means that we can actually include jokes as well, because everyone's writing in their sort of own cadence. So obviously Gordon's the funny one, or like AC, I'm sure had a lot of fun with Parker.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we'll be taking a look at some of those mission kind of profiles later on. But yeah, I think that's a really great idea to be able to hear all the different characters make their own contributions. And again, it adds to that immersive feeling of like you're a part of international rescue and you're getting advice from all of these different characters. So I think that's a really smart way of going about it. That's for sure.
It's also that there's an element of these characters, because this is a 60-year-old show or almost 61-year-old show. These characters don't get to come out that much with new content, so it's been really lovely to sort of, I guess, dust them off and bring them back and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and have them say their own thing in their own voices. I think that's a great idea. Now, the mystery hatch on the front of Thunderbird 2. Often, each week in the show, it will be seen deploying a different piece of equipment all the time. And you guessed it, folks, every piece of that equipment that's seen in the series is listed here. So we have things like the special elevator thing that comes down in Operation Crash Dive, the various grabbers that are used at different points, even John's little ladder that he's deployed in Danger at Ocean Deep is there as well. So any particular favorites that were fun to model here, Chris?
It's interesting from that point of view, because whenever you get into these sorts of little bits and bobs, you can kind of see how much effort went into building something that was on screen for a couple of seconds to come out of Thunderbird 2's hatch. I have a lot of fun with the missiles. Like I think there's 3 versions of the missile launcher, and we picked one. This might be the one from alias Mr. Hackenbacker, but I can't remember for sure. And I think there's a few different variants of the magnetic grabs as well, but obviously there's the side magnetic grab, and then there's the bottom magnetic grab, and then there's the one from Thunderbird 6 and stuff like that. So there's a lot of trying to pick the definitive version of that and work with it, but also write in, like, for instance, the magnetic grabs that you see in the Cham Cham don't work. So it's nice to be able to talk about the
sort of the use cases, like when they've actually been used and when they've worked well and when they haven't worked well.
Yeah, being like, oh, this version isn't effective, so we're going to retire this one and do a different one, that kind of thing. So
amazing. AC, if you had to pick a favorite, I'm putting you on the spot. Thunderbird 2 hatch accessories. What's your favorite one?
What do you mean you don't have a favorite Thunderbird 2 hatch accessory?
Everyone should have at least one favorite Thunderbird 2 hatch accessory. It's got to be like the law or something, right?
Yeah.
I've always had a bit of a soft spot for the rescue cage, to be honest, because it seems like that would be a rudimentary thing that Thunderbird 2 would have. The sort of thing where you can't get close to someone. It's not safe for them to use the rope ladder, which, P.S., the rope ladder doesn't have to be fancy because John Tracy brings all the heroism you need in that instance. Just thought I'd mention
little
that.
fancy magnets at the bottom as well, though. It's not fancy.
Magnets are so much better than not magnets. But I'd say the rescue cage. And those demolition missiles, they're over-designed, ridiculous, and I love them. Like,
And also, people are correcting me. It was from the Martian invasion. That particular.
Okay.
section.
Lots of people are saying it's the Martian invasion version. I mean,
I didn't want to correct you, Chris. I was just happy to let you think you knew what the answer was, and that's okay.
you
But,
have to remember, there's a lot of book here for Chris to hold all of that in his head at any given time, at any moment. You know.
Well, secretly, was he just testing who was paying attention?
Oh, that was it. That
You
was
see,
it.
you make mistakes for the engagement. That's how you do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yes, absolutely. Yeah, of course you've got to have a favorite. Of course you've got to have a favorite. Now, I just wanted to highlight this particular piece of artwork. Now, I'm not actually sure where this comes in the manual. It's just something, Chris, I saw you put up on social media, and I was like, I want to make sure people see this gorgeous shot of Thunderbird 3 landed there. Can you tease us a little bit about where this is from, where this comes from in the book?
Well, again, that's a remade version of an old calendar illustration that we did back in the day. There's like over 250 images in the new illustration in the book. I think it's like 263. So there's a lot. And some of it I did sort of dive back into my back catalog and remake and sort of upgrade with all the stuff I've learned recently. This is just something we never saw on the show. Like Thunderbird 3 would go to the moon in like the novels and the comics and things like that, but you just never had that iconic shot of Thunderbird 3 sitting on an alien landscape. And it's you don't get to see it much. This isn't the final version, but we'd been it's the next diecast that's coming out, so you know it's nice to give Thunderbird 3 its flowers. But this was just something that you want to see more, it doing more, and this could have been from the show. Like this is
Absolutely.
There's an old Martin Bauer comic cover that he did for Thunderbirds the comic, which is something similar to this, and I guess it sort of brought it back to that.
Yeah, I love the dramatic lighting that you've got on there. You could just it really feels like it's this towering thing plopped onto as you say, like an alien landscape. AC, I know you're a Thunderbird 3 fan. It must be nice to be able to see your favorite craft getting a little bit more spotlight than maybe it did in the TV show itself.
It is. It's such a nice image, and the thing about this particular image, in fact, was Chris and I had been doing a little bit of testing last year, I think it was, with some various special effects things. And I actually got to see this particular image on like a 10-foot screen and walk around in front of it wearing an astronaut costume. Now, I should clarify that's not a hint that we're doing anything Thunderbirds related with effects and stuff. But it was just
that was just a fun day out for you.
Also, Touring Opera had given me a lovely opportunity to have a play around with the volume that they have at Studio Ulster, which is down the road. So we were able to put this up on a massive VR screen or AR wall, along with the villa and places like that, and really get to pretend that we're on the moon with Thunderbird 3.
So when you've seen that particular Thunderbird 3 standing some 8 or 10 feet tall, and you're looking at it as if it's off in the distance, but you're quite close to it, it's even more impressive. But what a lovely image.
Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous, absolutely lovely. Now, of course, as well as showing the exteriors of all the various craft, you're also giving us a close-up look at some of the vehicle interiors, all the various buttons and control panels and things like that. We get to have a good look at and maybe even possibly understand how some of these Thunderbird machines work. And of course, what we're taking a look at right now is the Thunderbird 5 control room. Chris, can you walk us through this particular page right now?
So the Thunderbird 5 set is one that you don't get a really solid look at how it comes together. Like you kind of get the same shape, but the stuff that I never quite noticed, and it was things like the support column, like the little red triangle thing that's over in the corner, which I'd never noticed before, and I never really paid much attention to the support structure on top as well. So it's nice to see how that room all fits together. And I love the kind of bold colors contrasting with the gray that you get with the season 1 version. As you can see, we do also cover the season 2 sets. We give them some sort of a bit of a mention, and also we kind of cover, if you see that bottom left image there from is that Ricochet? Yeah. Where you can sort of see that the set has actually changed. They've moved the wall on the left-hand side, and that actually helps in some regards, because in Graham Bleethman's original cutaway of Thunderbird 5, they have a duplicate control room on the other side. So we can just explain that away as being like, oh, that's the second control room.
Yeah. That's great. I love that little bit of logic that's just applied there. Of, well, we only see from one side, so yeah, we could have two on. Yeah, that's great. I think that fits together beautifully.
Well, we also get to see more of Thunderbird 5. So there's the Astrodome, the telescope area, which has the old TV21 comics, and Graham had done a version of it. So I've tried to bring that in with the traditional Thunderbird production design. And then the TV21 also had the Recreation deck, which I've also rendered in this style, just to kind of give people an idea of what that would look like in the sort of puppet style.
Love it. You're going to get a really good tour of Thunderbird 5 here, which I'm certainly excited about, and I know there are a lot of Thunderbird 5 fans out there as well who will definitely enjoy having a closer look. So that's great. Now, of course, in addition to the main 5 Thunderbird craft, I'm going to guess pod vehicles take up a fair chunk of this book, because there's an awful lot of them. We're looking at the mole right now, but were there any other pod vehicles that you were excited to show off?
Well, obviously the mole's up front. All the pod vehicles get about 4 to 6 pages each, with lovely artwork, and then we've got schematics.
I'm sorry, hang on. 4 to 6 pages per pod vehicle?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That is amazing.
There's more than a double of them. So with the mole's case, we did the interior as well. A few people have pointed out it's coming up the wrong way in the bottom thing, and we do specifically say that it could actually board the carrier in both directions. So that's illustrating what that is, and then it can be rotated in Thunderbird 2 from a crane. It's things like that which I wanted to put in, because in any situation, like, the mole is obviously going to leave a tunnel behind it, which then could collapse. So it needs to be able to dock back with the carrier going the other way, and the carrier's obviously remote and stuff. Just addressing that before people think I've gone crazy. But yes, there's a lot of pod vehicles in this. I had a lot of fun actually with the acetylene cage. Because that was it's a piece of artwork I'm quite pleased with. But also, Graham had done an illustration in the old Haynes manual of how they got it in there. So it was nice to render that. But also, people may have noticed when I was holding up the thing I saw earlier, we've included the snowcat. Which, AC, do you want to tell us what the snowcat is and where it comes from?
Asks, what is the snowcat? Yes, can you tell us what that is? I don't remember a snowcat from the TV series. Where's that come from?
So back in around 2010, 2011, the Fanderson Forum ran a design your own pod vehicle competition. And the idea was that people would enter, they would design their own pod vehicles. You had to submit a side elevation and a front elevation and a brief description of what this pod vehicle can do and what it would be used for. And the winning entrant would have their design rendered by Chris in 3 dimensions in a nice picturesque setting, printed off on high quality paper, and then that would be taken to Gerry Anderson to get this signed, which sounded fantastic. I was very excited to do that, so I submitted a design, and Jack, I believe you submitted a design,
as well,
and there was one other person submitted the design. So
it was Serena Burton.
It was Serena, of course it was, and there was 3 entries for this contest. So they decided, because only 3 people entered, they would get all 3 of them done as designs. So Nick Williams, the chairman of Fanderson, took these designs to Gerry, who signed them, and we got this lovely little letter back to say that there is Jack.
Here's mine.
I believe, Jack, that was called the Firestorm. Is that
It
right?
was called the Firestorm. Yes, you won't be seeing this in the manual because Chris very politely took my design and tried to make it look as good as he could. But
there's already three fire vehicles in there, so
exactly. So don't worry, I'm not bitter about it at all. But there you go. There's the Firestorm.
Well, the idea with the Snowcat is it's one of an almost identical pair of pod vehicles that have been hardened against snow and ice that you would use for search and rescue missions to help avalanche survivors or to clear roads that have been in towns that have been engulfed in snow and things to get people out. And it was just a sort of thing. I got the idea from that wonderful sequence in Sun Probe where you see the transmitter truck on Mount Arkin moving through the snow. It's like one of the most gorgeous sequences in the entire series. And I thought they really need specialized snow equipment. It's the sort of thing we never got a proper Thunderbird snow episode. I mean, you think of things like Captain Scarlet, you've got Avalanche, you've got Noose of Ice, you've got Joe 90's Breakout episode. There's all sorts of various snow episodes with other Super Mario Nation shows, but you don't really get much of it in Thunderbirds, which seems like a bit of a missed opportunity. So we decided, hey, well, since these designs have literally been signed off by Gerry Anderson, why not include this in the manual as well?
Excellent. Yeah.
And also it's potentially to be seen in Thunderbird's Hidden Dangers.
Well, yes, quite right. There is indeed one story. I will not spoil any details at this point, but the Snowcat does turn up in a part of the Hidden Dangers overall narrative.
Of course. And you know, you've talked about them all. You've talked about the Snowcat, you know, but what about everyone's favorite pod vehicle, the Domo, and the Jet Air Transporter?
Hey, I love the Jet Air Transporter.
Yeah, I love how the Jet Air Transporter completely changes design between the puppet set and the model version. It's great.
Yeah. I'm sure that was very easy for. No, I want to take a brief moment to take a look at the Domo, a vehicle that I would have loved to have seen more of in the show. And I love that what you've done with this illustration here is like a different use case for it. Can you tell us a little bit of the story behind this image?
Yes. So this originally came with a story. This is another one that was originally planned from the calendar, which may have been a Cameron Stewart story. But again, this comes from just trying to make these things as real as possible. So what I'll tend to do is I'll do the 3D model in Blender, do the rough kind of outline of the surroundings, and then I'll use a lot of stock imagery and sort of painting and things like that to kind of bring everything together. I did see someone comment asking, was there any AI used in this manual? And the answer is no. Everything is done through Blender or just writing it or Photoshop and things like that. But with this, it is a case of like, I want this to feel like a real disaster movie. And so having the Domo trying to hold this dam together as it floods around it is just a wonderfully dramatic use case for it. And it would have been lovely to see it back. And I wish it had slightly more practical, like, you know, suction things like claws or whatever. But unfortunately, it got turned into the excavator, didn't it?
Yeah, afraid so. And yes, as we discussed, Jet Air Transporter, love to see it.
So how I did this was because there is actually a pretty big difference between the set and the model version. So everything where Virgil stands is the set and the top of it, and then everything below the kind of grey kind of reflects the miniature version a bit more. Mm-hmm. So it's a bit of a compromise, but hopefully it gives you a slightly definitive version.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a very good kind of compromise between the two. Now, in addition to all those pages on pod vehicles, we've also got this, which is Scott's mobile control unit seen throughout the series. And it looks like, dare I say it, a little bit of an explanation as to how he carts it around with him all the time.
Well, again, that's comes from the old Haynes manual. I think Sam had written trying to explain how Scott used to get it around. So I just rendered a hover trolley, which is in keeping with the production design. You've got the cases from Sunprobe there, so hopefully it all ties in quite nicely. But yeah, no, I always loved mobile control. Like, it's so woefully impractical. Particularly as, like, it's not just that desk in the earlier episodes. Like, there's that bit on the left as well that ends up in Thunderbird 3. So yeah, and I think I remember watching Sunprobe with my friend Guy years ago, and Brain has that, Virgil has it like, sure, let's get the portable computer. It's like, do you mean the iPad Brains?
Yes, not so portable looking at it now, but of course, yeah, in that lovely retro futuristic way in Thunderbirds, it still today looks cool just because it's covered in flashing lights and buttons and things like that. It's lovely. So yeah, great, lovely to see that in there. And I'm guessing that there's all sorts of other bits and pieces of equipment that you see International Rescue use a handful of times.
Yeah, there's 2 pages dedicated to the communicator, so the walkie-talkies, the teapot, the stick communicator. There's all the cutting gear, so the various lasers and drills and all that kind of stuff. There's the 2 jetpacks they have. There's the jetmobiles.
Uniforms of every size ship imaginable.
Yeah, so Christina Moore has put together, like as with the other books, has put together a bunch of illustrations of the various uniforms and the cold weather gear, and had a chat with Stephen LaRiviere, and he's letting us use some of the stuff from Thunderbird 65 as well. So we're bringing in
the anniversary episode.
Yeah,
right.
So so we're covering Scott's winter gear from that as well as some of the peripherals from Thunderbird 2.
Amazing. Oh my goodness me. This book is going to be weighty. Clear space on your bookshelf.
Disclaimer out there to say, whatever you do, folks, do not drop this book on your toe.
Yeah, exactly. Now, AC, I believe we're getting into your domain now, because we're taking a look at some character profiles. We're specifically looking at Lady Penelope and Parker here, but I'm guessing that there's a pretty good coverage for all of the main characters in here. Am I right in thinking that?
Yes, indeed. There are a lot of character profiles. We've got all the main characters covered, so everyone on Tracy Island, and we have Lady Penelope and Parker. We've got some of the International Rescue Field Agents, and it's been nice to just go through and give a little bit of the bios on these. And just as Chris was saying previously, we don't want to erase anything that has been established previously, either in the series or by previous authors. So we try to include as much as we can to keep everything exactly on the status quo. But wherever we can, we like to include little updates, and it's been quite fun going through and doing those. So for Lady Penelope and Parker, and indeed for the rest of the family, these have all been written by Jeff Tracy. So he's been giving the information about each of the characters, how he knows them, how he met them, and how they got introduced into the organization in the first place. And I think a lot of the time, if people aren't familiar with Thunderbirds or aren't intimately familiar with Thunderbirds as a series, they will at least have heard of Parker and Lady Penelope. They're 2 of the most recognizable characters. And it was especially good to, have a look at their backgrounds and give a little more info. And as you can see there, just about make out on the screen, they are International Rescue Agents 1 and 2. And those familiar with the series may know the number of another International Rescue Agent, Agent 47, who appears in The Imposters. So he also gets a little section in the biographies as well.
Excellent. Goodness me. So yeah, you really covered all bases there. That's great to hear.
We have a wonderful agents map, the agent map that comes down in The Imposters. We had a lot of fun trying to pinpoint everything.
Yeah. Trying to work out where everyone will be stationed. So that map is in the book? Excellent.
It is.
Love that. Great. Now, next up, you've come up with quite a nice way, I think, of presenting some of the guest vehicles that are sort of non-international rescue, and you've done that by sort of focusing in on certain mission incidents and summing them up Can you tell us a little bit about that process?
Well, yeah, it's as you say, Jack. It's a way of including things that otherwise wouldn't really be in the manual because it's a dedicated international well, it'd be useful if I could finish a sentence. That would be the first thing. I need international rescue to help me speak at the moment. But it's a good way to include them in a book that otherwise wouldn't have them. So, for example, we've got this lovely spread with Chris's artwork here of the seascape. Amazing design. Like Atlantic Inferno is one of my absolute favorite episodes as well. And to have these rescues related by the Tracy brother or the member of the team who was most involved in the rescue. In this one, you can just about make out that it says that this one's by Gordon Tracy. So it's Gordon's view on the seascape incident from his point of view and how everything unfolded during the disaster. Yeah. And each of these are 4 pages long. So the initial page gives you a little bit of background on the vehicle or piece of equipment that has malfunctioned. Then it tells you how the disaster unfolded. The 3rd page is a summary of the mission, how international rescue actually saved the day. And then the 4th page is this little diagram that we have here. And each of the sections is labeled with the relevant information. So you can see on this one, seascape sitting in the ocean. You've got Thunderbird 2 hovering nearby. Thunderbird 4 is under the water. And Gordon's rescuing Hooper and O'Shea from the Beth escape. And it was just such a good idea. And we did toy for a while with calling each of these things just, by the episode title. So this mission would be Atlantic Inferno. And then I thought, well, sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Atlantic Inferno makes sense as the name of a mission, but, you come up with Day of Disaster. Well, every mission is a day of disaster for international rescue. So to differentiate it, we just went with a more straightforward, the seascape incident, the crab logger incident, and that sort of thing to keep it all quite uniform.
That makes sense. And
it is also a really fun way to do all these guest vehicles. So while we don't necessarily cover them in quite as technical detail, those kind of dioramas that I was able to make is just a really satisfying way to really kind of get across exactly what's happening in the episode and do little bits and pieces like with Fireflash here.
Yeah. Exactly. I was just going to say, and it's nice again to have an opportunity to be able to show these vehicles from different angles. Like I love this low angle shot of Fireflash looking up at Fireflash, something that you wouldn't necessarily see it from this angle in the TV show, but with your illustration, you're able to bring it to life in a different way. So I just wanted to make sure everyone saw that Fireflash was going to be in the book because it's one of the things I'm certainly looking forward to seeing. That's for sure. It is
funny. It's like it's one of those ways of trying to get across how big they were thinking back in the day, because Fireflash is huge.
Oh, it's massive. Absolutely. Yeah. It's double decker. It's longer than a 747 pretty much.
I remember in the early days of the Gerry Anderson Facebook and YouTube, whenever we're working, I did have a series where I would render one of the vehicles. I'd take a photograph and render one of the vehicles in relation to real things. And I remember I took a shot in Gatwick Airport of Fireflash just sitting there, and it dwarfed the buildings. It's multi-stories tall.
It's a huge beast. Yeah, lovely to see that. And speaking of big beasts, here's the crab logger incident. So, as AC was saying, you get a full insight into how things ended up going so wrong for some of these vehicles and, what international rescue ultimately ended up doing in order to save the situation. Which character writes this particular profile? So
that's from Scott's point of view. He describes everything from getting Virgil and Brains on board to emptying the Superon tanks at the end of the journey. And I've also snuck in there that he did, in fact, detach the Superon fuel hoses, because otherwise he would have been yeeted right off that ledge along with the crab logger as well. And yes. As much as sometimes Scott doesn't always use his head, we didn't want to see him take a nosedive, and we kind of had to explain that he was following the correct procedure and getting everyone out safely and detaching those hoses, which I don't think you actually see in the episode.
No, I don't think you do. Lovely that you're able to go into that much detail and try and maybe cover some of those little inconsistencies in the show itself. But
it's quite fun. On the right there is an artistic recreation of the little diagram that they have to show the crab logger's progress. So it is somewhat accurate to the episode, right down to like the artwork and things like that, which was quite satisfying.
Yeah. Oh, the attention to detail there is amazing. The fact that even little graphics like that are representative of what's in the show itself. The fact you've been able to recreate stuff like that is amazing. Absolutely astonishing.
It took an amusing amount of thought as well, because like whoever put the thing together did a lovely illustration, and like that's the original dam art and the various bits and bobs. But then you have to think about, okay, right, here's San Martino, and then it has to be this far away from the dam, etc. And then they've put a river in between. It's like at one point does crab logger cross a river? So it does take a little bit of thought, a little bit of like fudging things slightly, but no, it comes together okay.
Yeah, absolutely lovely. And well, just last piece of artwork to show today, we have the Tracy Island Villa at sunset.
That's so good. That's
lovely opportunity to see just the novelty of being able to see various settings with different lighting to what we would normally expect is, for me at least, as someone who's watched Thunderbirds a lot, it's great to be able to just see things in a slightly different way. So yeah, this is a really lovely little shot of the villa. It's really nice.
When you spend all the time making the model, it's like, well, okay, well, I've made this now. Like, we might as well take it from a couple of different angles. So, but yeah, no, building the villa was actually really fun, because when you really break it down, the set, and analyze it, because like you actually do have the front door that sort of is up that staircase on the left, and then there's another staircase I never noticed around the back that you can just about see in some of the publicity shots. Like it sort of comes down from where behind the aft chimney is. And then, of course, you've got this little garage-type part to the left where you can see that wooden outcropping. So trying to work out how that all fitted together. And there's a shot in, I think it might be... It's the one where the tracker, Alan eats the tracker. That one. Day of Disaster, is it? Or
well, they accuse Alan of eating the tracker, but it turns out it's actually Jeff that has eaten the tracker.
But trying to work out where all the rooms are. So it was a good time, and it took a while, and my computer did not thank me for it for all those tantrums. But
Chris, quick tally. How many computers have you lost to these manuals exactly?
Oh, it's not been too bad. The graphics card of this one burnt out not long after doing this one, but that's between 265 images for this and 800 special effect shots for Blake 7. So it's a trooper.
It's one of the things that people don't often think about. Is yes, you need good computer hardware to get you through these. Well, there we go. That was our preview of some of the various pages, but don't go away, because we do have a lot more coming up on the show. We are going to be having a little bit of a Q&A. I'm going to be sharing some of your questions with Chris and AC about the manual, and we're going to dig deep into the burning issues that everyone wants to know, what exactly is or is not included in this manual, various questions about the special edition as well. So stay tuned for that and keep your questions coming in the chat. But right now, we're going to take a quick break, take a look at a mix of some lovely vintage classic Anderson-inspired adverts, as well as some of the latest from Anderson Entertainment. Don't go away. We'll be back after this.
Calling International Rescue. Calling International Rescue.
Cool, blimey, look, Brent. Thunderbird's live at the Delaware Pavilion, Bexhill-on-Sea. But only for a week, Parker.
Are you ready? Quite ready, Father. This is an assignment for the Bishop.
We have a very important assignment for you, Bishop.
One moment.
Remember the blind bend ahead, Father.
Have no fear, Matthew. I'm well acquainted with this stretch of road.
But what you say may be put into writing and used in evidence.
Ah, yes. Write it scribbly in your bookery. All uttery words, speed of your pen slow must deceive my eyeball.
I didn't quite catch that, sir.
I know I'm getting cramp. Hold on, deliverance may be near.
Calling International Rescue. Come in, Thunderbird 1.
I hope we're not too late, Father.
Thunderbird 2 is on its way.
ETA 5 minutes. Thunderbird 2, understand your danger zone.
Great job, boys. Supersized Thunderbirds 1 and 2. Now ready for action.
Alien attack.
Flying saucers.
No, flying dishes.
Ice cream. Rice pudding.
Oh no, semolina. They're swamping the earth with gooey desserts.
What shall we do?
We'll have to eat them.
Nobody can eat that much semolina.
We might, with new Jif dessert toppings. They make desserts delicious. Raspberry. Strawberry. Chocolate.
Hey, we've got them licked.
Jif dessert toppings. Not only delicious, but they could safeguard the future of mankind.
Scarlet, you are ours. We made you, and we will destroy you.
Time to reel you in, Frankie boy.
You know, I'm getting a bad feeling about this mission.
Sorry to burst in on you, ma'am.
And you're right.
You watch too much TV, Mikey.
It's time to die.
This is the voice of the Mysterons.
Emergency. My controls are jammed. I'm locked onto Skybase.
Today, they have won. But the war goes on, gentlemen. And we will win it. We must.
When I pull this trigger, I'm going to throw what's left of you into that hole. Indestructible or not.
You cannot destroy us, Earthmen.
Well, I'm certainly very excited for that new Captain Scarlet Blu-ray box set. Welcome back, everybody. If you're just joining us, we are here this evening talking about the Thunderbirds International Rescue Technical Operations Manual, and I'm joined by the authors, Chris Thompson and Andrew Clements, who are giving us their insights into making the manual and also what's going to be included. Pre-orders for the manual launched today. Head to the Gerry Anderson store, gerryanderson.com, to secure your copy of both the standard edition and the very limited special edition. Only 500 of these available worldwide, and I have to say, before we went live, it looked very close to the selling out. So if you want one of these special editions, definitely get your order in. Now, before the break, I teased that we were going to get into a bit of a question and answer session. We're going to see if Chris and AC can answer some of your questions about the book. And I was able to go to our lovely Facebook group for the Podsterons and ask them what they wanted to know about the book. And I'm going to start off by asking a question from Simpsons Clips 24, who asks, are there any sections dedicated to technology we only saw in the Thunderbirds anniversary episodes? Chris or AC, who wants to take that question?
Well, we've not dedicated whole sections, but we do touch on certain bits. So, for instance, the fire suppressing bombs from Thunderbird 2 that we've seen in Abominable Snowman, Scott's weather gear from that particular episode, and obviously Fab 2's Fab 1 launch bay in introducing Thunderbirds are the key things that we took.
Excellent. So all those details are included in there. That's great. Next up, Megan Davies wants to ask, is Fab 1 in the book?
No.
No, we don't like Fab 1. We decided not to include it at all.
No. Fab 1's in the book, and I think it's got about maybe 8 pages dedicated to it. Like, it's got, we do break down. In fact, AC wrote that section, so I'll let you talk about it.
Well, although I think I know a little bit about Fab 1, I think it's fair to say that Parker knows an awful lot more about Fab 1. So Parker has written us the section on Fab 1 detailing all its various features and his personal thoughts on it, and that was a lot of fun today.
Excellent. Good to hear. Next up, Rich Goodborn asks, how much input did Willow have in the John Tracy and Thunderbird 5 section? Did
she gave
her approval? She approved.
It was run. We ran it past her.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. James Pilson Wood asks, how did you judge the proportions for the microphone replica? I'll pull up a couple of images just so everyone can see what we're talking about. Of course, referring to the lovely microphone replica that's being included in the special edition.
So it was actually surprisingly tricky. And actually, I have the prototype here, which was our first go at it, which is this size. And you may notice that the handle is significantly shorter, and that's because we judged it a bit closer to the puppet version and not an actual human hand. So while this is roughly in keeping with what it would be to a human from the puppet, we have lengthened the handle a bit to sort of accommodate just ease of use, because this could slip out of your hand quite easily. So the final version has a longer handle than this, but we did go through multiple iterations to work out what felt and looked perfect.
Excellent. Love to hear that. Next up, from Paul Hyde, asks, does the book come in the case? Well,
yes.
I can answer that one. Yes, if you order the special edition, it does indeed come in the case. And just to show you, it's got a nice sort of foam cutout, so the book just slots in there and it's nice and protected and presented beautifully there in amongst all the other goodies that are included. So yes, if you order the special edition, it does indeed come in the case. The standard edition is the hardback book, so you get everything, the full contents of the book is included in the standard edition. The special edition is just, well, it's got all those nice extra goodies with it. So thank you for your question there, Paul. Next up, Martin Smith asks, is the special edition case the same size as the Moonbase Alpha one?
Well, I will defer to Chris to answer that question.
Chris is there. He's ready to model it for us.
So this is the Moonbase one.
Okay.
This is the Thunderbirds one. So we tried to get the same case, but it that mold wasn't really available anymore. So it is slightly bigger, slightly thicker as well, but they sit together well on the shelf, and they can be presented together as well. So it's not too bad. I have been asked to point out as well that the sticker will be a nicer sticker. That is going to be
okay. One. Right. That makes sense. But of course, of course they're different cases. case technology will vary between 1999 and whatever year Thunderbirds is set in.
65.
Is that it? Is that a confirmation?
Well, we could never possibly confirm such a thing, Jack. I mean, whatever we say is not always going to be something that people agree with. So, excuse me, sorry. 65.
Right.
Yeah, no, we'll leave it up to people to decide what they.
Well, next question. Steve Bushell wants to know a few things. Where am I going to put it?
Like,
where is Steve going to keep
it there? Like, you know what? Kitchen table, right in the middle. Move everything out of the way.
Yeah, I think you need it. You need it readily to hand in case you know you're ever presented with a Thunderbirds question and you desperately need to answer it. Go ahead and grab your Thunderbirds manual.
Yeah, that's what the seat of your car is for.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Steve also wants to know: does it come with a bookmark?
No, but if you're feeling inventive, the microphone can double as a bookmark.
Sure.
We'll not recommend that though. Just do not use the microphone as a bookmark. You heard it here first, folks.
Oh, there you go. Just in case you needed to point it out. But it's slightly more seriously. Steve also asks, how much discussion did you have regarding the boys' biographies? So I guess what facts did you consider including? What sort of thing did you decide to invent or base on other things? What were kind of your sources of information when it came to putting those biographies together?
Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to look at what's in the series. And despite running for 32 50-minute episodes, you actually learn precious little about most of the characters' backgrounds. So what we've tried to do is look back at anything that is really deemed officially licensed material. We didn't want to slavishly sort of copy anything that's been done before. So what we did was we had a look at production documents and things that would have originally appeared back in TV Century 21 in the 60s, and basically took as much of that as we could put together with what was shown on screen as possible. Some things are not shown on screen. Some things that you hear about them, we can't really reconcile that with what's there. So rather than sort of say we're going to cause a conflict there, some things maybe didn't quite make the cut. And then there are other things that have been alluded to over the years. There's quite a famous part of the Thunderbirds complete story, or the complete Thunderbird story by, was it Alan Fennell wrote that throughout the Fleetway comics in the 90s?
It was Alan Fennell wrote it with Andrew Skilliter illustrating.
There we go. See? This is why I have to defer to your expertise quite often, Chris. But there's a sequence in it where you see a shot of Gordon's hydrofoil exploding, and it says that Gordon was in a hydrofoil accident, so we had to put that into his biography as well, and maybe hinted at the fact that it was due to his near-death experience that he developed something of a practical joker personality. He sort of learned to laugh at danger, come out the other side stronger, and that sort of thing. So just little hints like that, rather than just this person did this, then they did this, then they did this. Oh, and then Thunderbirds happened at the end.
Excellent. Love that. Great. Robert Martin wants to know, how long does the Thunderbirds manual take to make? So come on, from when do you put pen to paper right up until it's going to be in people's hands?
Well,
when did we start?
So this is the thing, because for instance, I can tell you how long exactly the Space 1999 manual took to make, which was just under 1 year. I think it was like 11 months. And that was during COVID. So Chris didn't have to do much else rather than sit at home and make a Space 1999 manual. Unfortunately, I've been burdened by such things as a social life since then. So
what? You didn't tell me about this.
It's surprisingly more tricky to kind of do them in such a small period of time, which is why you may have seen the manuals getting a bit shorter, partly because it was a content thing and partly because there's just less stuff going on in that particular series. However, I knew if we were going to do Thunderbirds, it would need to be big. and we'd need to really justify why we're doing another Thunderbirds manual, because it'd be a lot covered beforehand. So realistically, I started years ago, which is why you see like some of the illustrations that were done for things like the calendars or like some other illustration you may have seen me done in the past, was to get stuff made before I would have to like potentially do it in a crunch, which sometimes happens towards the last couple of months, these things. So realistically, I officially jumped on this quite soon after I finished the Stingray manual, but realistically, like it really kicked into gear after I delivered Blake 7 Season 2. So I think the bulk of serious production on this happened in about 6 months, but that was made using models and assets that I've been developing for years. Yeah. And obviously it would have been impossible without the help of my co-writer and our editor, Steph Briggs, and Amazing 15, and Connor and Christina and Graham and everybody else who helps out in these things.
Yeah, it's a huge group effort, lots to coordinate, and takes a little bit of time to get it all together, get it all right. So, and I think we're all very grateful that you all take that time for sure.
And the multiple rounds of QC it also has to go through. So
the QC quite often takes quite a lot longer than you might think. To give you a quick example of that, when Chris first sent back the complete PDF version of the manual, the sort of draft one of the PDF, the first thing I do is I go through the entire manual, so that's 304 odd pages, and make notes about anything, if there's like any spelling errors or something's been labeled incorrectly or if something's been duplicated from another part of the manual when it shouldn't be.
And I believe very dyslexic, so there will be spelling errors.
Chris is genuinely dyslexic, so it is amazing that he puts all this stuff together so flawlessly that you wouldn't notice half the time. But it's also things like, when the designers get involved and they put things in areas, because they base a lot of what they do on the notes that Chris gives them. So, 9 times out of 10, everything will line up exactly the way it should. But I think I had 24 pages of notes after the first QC pass. And that's 24 pages of notes over a 304-page manual. And then back to the final QC pass, I was down to sort of 2 lines on a single page, just to say, I think there's still one spelling mistake in that word. So I think it was across, was it 3 or 4 QC passes altogether, Chris?
Oh, it's 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah, and you read it every single time in your defense.
Well, I had to, because you can't assume that someone is going to correct something and then nothing else will get messed up as a result of that correction, because when you're moving graphics and things around, so you have to read the entire thing every single time.
Always moving. Yeah, that makes sense. So amazing amount of work that just goes into reading and rereading and getting these things ready to go. Very important to keep that in mind. John
would know because he's my co-writer.
I would know, yes. I did the same thing with the Joe 90 manual, so I can attest it is a lot of work. It was more work than I was even anticipating getting into that. So, really amazing stuff. John Stock wants to know, does the book include Agent 47's car, kitchen appliances, and tins of beans? After all, he is a part of International Rescue. So, Jeremiah Tuttle, I think you already mentioned, does indeed have a page in the book. Am I right in thinking that?
Jeremiah does indeed have a biography as Agent 47. We detail how he and Jeff came to know each other, and as Jeff mentions in the series, that Jeremiah guessed about his plans to start International Rescue and became an agent that way. I think we briefly touch upon the additional features made to his home and to his car. We don't have an individual feature about either of them, because it's more about the core International Rescue team rather than individual agents, because as I'm sure you can appreciate, as an agent's manual, if we had to detail every agent in the organization, that would be biographies on at least 47
and all of their equipment.
And all of their equipment, exactly.
Yeah. What we do is we treat the London operation as a case study. So this is the setup of an IR thing. But we also cover some of the other relevant agents. But also, Jeremiah also gave us an interesting lore debate as well, because I remember AC had written him coming from Tennessee because that's what the books say.
That's
Or
what
the
the audio adaptation of The Imposters, as read by Shane Rimmer in character as Scott, say somewhere in the hills of Tennessee. And then I said, oh, okay, this is all great. Tennessee, la la la. Send it off to Chris. And Chris came back and said, AC, doesn't he live in Utah? I said,
Yeah,
what?
so basically,
No,
because of the wonderful new restorations of Thunderbirds has had over the years, you can see Alan Tracy directly points to a map of Utah.
Yeah. So then I had to go back and rework the biography to say, okay, he was born in Tennessee, and then in later life, after he left the service and became an international rescue agent, he relocated to Utah.
Very good. Very
And
clever.
that's how you include both.
Very, very clever. Right. Question from Daniel Ross Dudley. This is gonna be a quick fire round. Because he's given me a list of vehicles, just wants to know if these are included. So just a quick yes or no on these. Fireflash.
Yes.
The monotrain.
No, but it is sort of covered. It's like it has a small section.
Gotcha. Crab logger.
Yes.
Road layer.
Yes.
Sidewinder.
Yes.
Yes.
Sun probe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sky thrust.
Briefly.
Briefly, yes.
Red arrows.
No.
All right. There you go. Hope we've covered everything there. Lovely stuff. James Creether asks, congratulations on the book, lads. I know it's going to be well worth the wait. What was the most difficult character, vehicle, or scenario to write about, and how did you overcome or justify it?
So one of the things I did tend to find, I had this issue with the Shadow Manual as well. Whenever you're writing something about the Space 1999 or the Stingray Manual, or Joe 90 was really good for this as well, and you have, for instance, 4 pages to fill on a various device or a vehicle, you can sort of come up with an interesting design history for these things and be like, well, this thing was developed for this reason, but has now been repurposed for this reason, etc. And that means you can just paint a little bit of a story, whereas a lot of the pod vehicles was like, well, we needed something to cut open a door, so Brains got something to cut open a door. So when you get to stuff like the laser cutter, and it's like, right, I've already talked about the mortar booster, or the booster mortar, so and like that's covered the small tractor that they've rebuilt into this thing. So what else is there to say about the laser cutter? So there was times where I was really like grasping at straws to fill it out, but with the help of AC and things like that, like you do come up with stuff to write about and little bits and pieces like, oh, well, the laser cutter doesn't have a canopy or has a removable canopy to make things easier to communicate and little bits and bobs like that. So, yeah,
I think you came up with a really interesting concept for why the neutralizer tractor was actually built in the first place.
Yeah, so it sort of spelled from that line from Pit of Peril, all these bushfire wars that keep popping up. But the idea of like, oh well, International Rescue has this like tractor that seems specifically designed to take out this one bomb on this bridge, but actually it's there for effectively minesweeping or detonating munitions left over from other wars and things like that. So you do get to write a bit of a flair, and also you can sort of talk about, okay, well, here's an example of a rescue we use this on, which may or may not have appeared in the series. And like I did watch like a lot of things. Like I watched quite a bit of Chicago Fire. I watched a lot of documentaries just to kind of get a bit more of a sort of, not a grittier, but like a more grounded idea of what rescue personnel do and like their procedures and things like that. And through that, I was able to bring that back into Thunderbirds to get some of that nitty gritty operational stuff going on. So you'll see a lot of that where they will talk about procedures and having to clean out the vehicles whenever they get back up and restock, and the various equipment that will be seen on board Thunderbird 2 that you never see, but they would obviously have in case they need to shore up buildings for earthquakes or like pump out water and things like that. So yeah, there's a lot of that sort of thing.
Amazing. I love that you looking at real life examples and seeing how it again just all adds to this immersive quality and will hopefully enable people to really feel like they are inhabiting the world of Thunderbirds, which I think certainly as a 7-year-old and maybe even as a slightly older 7-year-old now, that's a dream come true as far as I'm concerned. So yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that because I've had a few people come up to me saying, "Oh yeah, we use this for our RPG, like our role-playing game." Because a lot of the Modiphius Space 1999 game sort of used the technical manual as a basis. I've heard of people using the UFO manual as like a story bible kind of thing for stuff that they're writing, and yeah, like hopefully the kind of level of immersion it gives you, hopefully will give you the same vibe with Thunderbirds.
Yeah,
it's like rather than just seeing the boys like they're in the ship and then boom, they're in like their civilian clothes in the island. You can have all the maintenance that they'd be doing in between and like get an idea what their life is actually like.
Yeah, for sure. Well, unfortunately, we are running short on time. So thank you, everyone, for your questions. I know that people have submitted an awful lot of questions, and we thank you very much for those. But hopefully, Chris and AC have been able to give you a nice, deep insight into what's going into this technical manual. Now, it wouldn't be one of our live streams if we didn't have time for just a little game at the end. And since we've got, two Thunderbirds masterminds with us, I thought it would be a good idea to put their knowledge to the test. So Chris and AC are now going to go head to head in a game that I like to call Thunderbirds Picto Words. You see how it kind of rhymes? It's clever stuff.
It's very good. Very good.
The game is really simple. Chris, AC, you're going to take it in turns. You're going to be presented with some images, and all you have to do is figure out whether they make a Thunderbirds character, episode, or a specific vehicle. So just to show you an example, just so you can have this is a practice round.
Okay.
Say what you see.
Firefly.
Very good. You see? You got the hang of it?
I was like, fire zip? Question mark.
Now, everyone in the chat, if you're watching, you're very welcome to join in and help the lads out as well. But I'm going to say the first question is going to be for Chris. You're going to have 30 seconds on the clock to get your answer in. And if you run out of time, you will hear this noise. So make sure you get your answer in quick. You can make as many guesses as you like, but as long as I have the correct answer by the time the noise goes off, we'll be ready to go. So Chris, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Here's your first question. Who or what or which episode is that?
Tintin.
That is correct. Very well done. Right. AC, you're next up.
The Mole.
Excellent. I promise these do get more challenging. All right, Chris, you're next.
Red Arrow.
It is indeed Red Arrow. Well done, well done. AC, this one's for you.
Cry Wolf.
That's correct. Doing very well.
I'm loving this.
I feel so much pressure.
I can tell you're doing great with this. It's neck and neck right now. Chris?
Sea of Fire? Atlantic Inferno.
There you go. Atlantic Inferno. That's the one. You see, it's getting challenging. It's getting hard. Right. Next up, AC, this one's for you.
Ooh. Car 3, car hand. Stop thinking car. 3? Something 3. Fingers, hand, palm, car, car hand. Stop thinking car hand.
You are along the right lines. It's a Fort Thunderbird.
Of course it is. That was really should have got that. No excuse.
All right, Chris pulls ahead there. Chris, this next one's for you. Say what you see.
Eddie Houseman?
That's correct.
My bird was like, Whirlpool House Man?
Yeah, I was thinking Whirlpool House Man.
You've got to get the stupid options out of your head first, and then you'll eventually get to the right one. Okay, next one, AC.
Crab Logger.
There you go. He's back in it with the Crab Logger.
Even though it looks like the Sidewinder.
Well, we don't go there. Right, next up.
Lift car. Elevator car.
There you go, elevator car.
For a second, I thought you might not get that if you were stuck on the word lift.
Yeah, I've just grown up in the wrong country for this.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. Right, next up, this one's for you, AC.
Sun probe.
There you go, sun probe. You could have
Sun
that
audio jack.
That'd be good. Right, next one for you, Chris. I'm doing a terrible job of keeping track of the scores. I just know that Chris is one ahead so far. Right, here we go.
Dr. Tomato. Thing plant. Listening plant. Stethoscope. I don't think I'm going to get this. Cherry picker. I don't know. This one's not me.
What is it, AC?
Is it Dr. Orchard?
It is Dr. Orchard, yes.
That's fine.
All right. All tied up. I think, AC, this one's for you next. Say what you see. Any ideas?
Prey thief? Something burglar? Desperate intruder.
There you go. Desperate intruder. That's it.
I was thinking, don't focus on the gesture. Look at her face. She's desperate. And then...
Exactly. Right. Next one for you, Chris.
Oh, that's genius.
Scott Tracy.
That's it.
You just say what it is and see what comes out.
Yep. Right. Next one for you, AC.
Oh. Well, I was going to say Captain Scarlet, but it's not. It's Captain something weight, something ton. Captain, what is that stuff? Captain Benton? Captain Ashton. Captain Ashton.
Captain Ashton. There you go. Nice job. See, they're getting a little more challenging now. A little more challenging.
Oh, my palms are all sweaty.
I know. It's tense stuff. Right, Chris, this one's for you. Say what you see.
Operation Crash Dive.
That's it. Gosh, he's quick. He's quick. AC, next one for you.
Phone emu. Mobile crane.
Mobile crane. There you go.
Phone emu is also a good pod vehicle.
I would agree with that. Certainly. I'd love to see it. Right. Next one for you, Chris.
Danger at Ocean Deep?
It is Danger Rat Ocean Deep.
I had to ignore the rat for that one. I'm going to be entirely honest.
Yeah, you do kind of need to do that. Right. AC, this one's for you.
Oh, something Fever Tracy. Oh, okay. Well, which one is it? John Gordon Virgil. Yeah, Virgil Tracy. Virgil Tracy.
Virgil Tracy. There you go. Right. Next up for you, Chris.
The booster mortar. The mortar booster.
It is the booster mortar.
What are the guys doing?
Mortar.
Boo.
Oh,
boo. Mortar.
Yeah, we got there in the end.
It's clever. It's clever. Right. It's neck and neck right now. But let's see. Can you get this next one, AC?
Statue, sheep, beach, Liberty, statue, ram, landmark, something, beach, view, sheep, herd, something, herd, sea, pen, sea, beach, stock footage of Liberty, stock footage of sheep, stock footage of beach.
5 seconds left.
No, I'm not going to.
You're going to hate me for this one.
I was going to say Penelope, but I didn't know how it would come again. That was just a total guess.
Lady, as in Lady Liberty.
Yeah.
Pen, as in sheep pen. Elope.
Yeah, I wasn't really getting elope from that last one, but I can see what you were going for.
Sorry. Well, I think after that, if I'm talking,
does AC lose a point if he criticizes the game?
Look, if
does AC get a point for getting the one that Chris didn't get?
No, you don't. But it does mean that Chris, I believe, by the narrowest margin, you are the winner.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Victor Words. Very well done. Well done, everyone in the chat, for keeping up. That was a fast-moving game. And it's a challenging one, and I have to say congratulations to both of our contestants. You played very, very well today, so thank you very much. And well, that brings us sadly towards the end of our stream. We've had a wonderful time talking about the Thunderbirds Technical Operations Manual. As I say, head over to the Gerry Anderson store, gerryanderson.com. You can head over there, pre-order the manual now. Delivery expected around summer 2026. So very, very soon. You don't have to wait very long.
Historically, there has been a bit of a gap between pre-order and delivery, whereas because there's been such a gap for this coming out, it shouldn't be as long as it normally is. What I would say.
Lovely. Well, yeah, I'm sure it will most certainly be worth the wait as well. So I hope you've all enjoyed getting a sneaky look at what's inside the manual, and we hope you very much enjoy it when it arrives in your hands. It just remains for me to say thank you, Chris. Thank you, AC, for joining me this evening. It's been great to have you.
Jack, for hosting us.
You're very welcome indeed. And there's just one thing. There's someone who I think may have gotten their hands on the manual that maybe International Rescue wouldn't be so keen on them getting their hands on the manual. But I think, don't worry, I think Scott is on the case. So let's hand over to him. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
FAB.
At last, I have outwitted International Rescue. Their plans are secret no longer.
International Rescue from Thunderbird 1. This is an emergency. Our most closely guarded secrets have been stolen by an enemy agent, and the security of our entire organization is at risk. The technical details of our island base, the Thunderbirds, our auxiliary equipment, and even mission reports are compromised.
If this organization is not security tight, it cannot remain functional. You know that.
There's one chance. I'm going to try and force him off the road. I've done it. And I don't think that guy's in any fit state to try a stunt like that again. I'm going in to retrieve the technical manual now.